Something unexpected is happening in the early days of this new Congress, right here in the Senate, and that is we are seeing some bipartisanship. Republicans and a number of Democrats have now agreed that violent criminals who have entered our country illegally and are a threat to the safety and the security of the American people shouldn't be here. We need to do something about it. The headline in Politico this week tells the story. The headline reads, "Democrats make a right turn on immigration." This is an encouraging start to our new Senate year. And now we need time for the Democrats to prove that they really do want to work with us. The Senate's going to vote today on this bipartisan Laken-Riley Act. Now, just to remind those who are unfamiliar with the situation, Laken Riley is a young woman. She was a student at Augusta University in Athens, Georgia. She was studying to be a nurse, and tomorrow would have been her 23rd birthday. She was murdered by an illegal immigrant. All she was doing was out taking a jog. That illegal immigrant was in America because of Joe Biden and the Democrats' open border policies. The Laken-Riley Act had been sponsored and is now co-sponsored by every Republican in the Senate. And there are also several Democrats who have recently signed on to this legislation, and they now support it. Happy to hear the Democrat leader saying that he was going to vote to get on the bill as well. The Laken-Riley Act presents the Senate a simple choice. Are we willing to allow illegal immigrants to roam free in our country, or do we want to save American lives? Protecting Americans from the dangers of a broken border makes sense to, I believe, most, if not all, of our citizens. Earlier this week, Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania was asked about the Laken-Riley Act. This is what he said. He said, "If you're here illegally and you're committing crimes, I don't know why anybody thinks that that's controversial." Well, not too long ago, his party certainly thought this point of view was controversial. That's what we saw happen here in the Senate. Last Congress, Republicans tried to bring up the Laken-Riley Act. Democrats blocked us. They wouldn't even let us debate it. So I'm happy to hear that Democrats are now open to debating this important bill. It's nice to see that the results of the election in November have changed the thinking of some of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. Debating the Laken-Riley Act isn't enough. The Senate must go on to pass it. The House has already passed this exact version of the Laken-Riley Act this past week, and that vote was overwhelmingly bipartisan. The Senate now has an opportunity to make a real difference, a difference to protect American citizens from illegal immigrant criminals. There are some Democrat senators who say that they support the Laken-Riley Act, but they want to weaken it. Well, to be clear, Senate Republicans are not weakening this life-saving legislation. We will not allow that to happen. We must ensure that what happened to Laken-Riley does not ever happen again. When the time comes to vote on the Laken-Riley Act, I encourage all of my colleagues to vote yes. Democrats join us, the Laken-Riley Act will actually become the law of the land. But more importantly than that, it will meet an urgent need of the American people. That's what we're really trying to do here. Solve a problem. Come up with a solution. This isn't comprehensive immigration reform. To be very clear, there's much more that needs to be done to fix our broken, open border. But today I introduced a bill called the Build the Wall Act. That will certainly go a long way. We know that border walls work. My proposal finishes the wall, and it pays for it with unspent COVID money, money that is available to be used and should be used for that productive purpose. We've already built more than 450 miles of border wall between the United States and Mexico. We know that it worked. Under President Trump, illegal crossings were at a record low. But now, after more than 10 million illegal immigrants have poured into our country during the last 4 years, we need to finish the wall. The need to do it is greater today than it has ever been before. The moment has come for safety and for security, and now for serious action. Joe Biden and the Democrats broke the border, opened the border, allowed and actually invited into this country people who are part of criminal cartels, drug dealers, terror suspects. This action turned every state, including my home state of Wyoming, into a border state. It's time for even more Democrats to join Republicans today in securing our border, saving our lives, and passing this important piece of legislation that is coming before us today.